In a hospital room bathed in the pale morning light, Sarah Parker, feverish and weak, clutched her phone to her ear. Her voice trembled. "I'm at the hospital. I really want to come. I prepared for this interview." But the response was icy. "We do not reschedule interviews. If you're not there at the scheduled time, your application will be disqualified." The beep of the line, disconnecting, echoed like a stab to the heart. Sarah let her arm drop, drained of strength, staring at the white ceiling. Tears blurred her vision, not from the fever, but from deep despair. Beside her, her old leather bag contained her CV, carefully typed the night before, protected in a clear sleeve. A handwritten note was tucked inside. "This is the beginning of something better. Please," she whispered, "don't take this chance from me. My daughter needs it." In a corner of the room, her 4-year-old daughter, Lily, sat on a plastic chair, her little legs swinging. With her honey-colored hair and bright blue eyes, she silently watched her mother. Lily had seen Sarah come home late from the restaurant, exhausted but singing lullabies. She had watched her fix a broken toaster with tape, forgoing dinner so Lily could eat. And now, she saw her mother crying. Without a word, Lily waited for Sarah to fall asleep, overwhelmed by the medication. Then, she got up, climbed onto the chair, brushed a strand of hair from her mother's forehead, and climbed down. She approached the bag, opened it gently, and took out the CV folder. After a long look, she put on her favorite pink dress, adorned with little white bows, and holding the folder too big for her, she left the room. Lily, 4 years old, was crossing the city alone, her folder clutched against her chest. The hurried passers-by didn't notice this little girl in a pink dress, walking with a determination that belied her age. She had memorized the bus number and recognized the Braden and Company building, an imposing glass tower bearing the inscription "Global Solutions." Taking a deep breath, she entered. The reception area buzzed, heels clicking on marble, whispers of employees, elevator doors opening and closing. Charlotte, the receptionist, was flipping through her schedule when a small figure appeared. Looking up, she saw Lily, barely taller than the counter, holding a folder almost as big as she was. "Hello, sweetheart. Are you looking for someone?" Charlotte asked, puzzled. "I'm here for the job interview," Lily replied, serious. Charlotte blinked, bewildered. "The interview?" Lily nodded. "It's for my mom. She's sick today, so I came in her place." The name Sarah Parker was indeed on the list, scheduled for 9 a.m. Around them, employees slowed down, intrigued by this unexpected scene. Hesitant, Charlotte activated her earpiece. "Lena, tell Mr. Braden to come down. It's important, very important." Upstairs, Albert Braden, 32, a brilliant but distant CEO, was in his glass office overlooking the city. Known for his coldness in business, he wasn't expecting anything special from this day of interviews. In a meeting room, Albert pulled out a chair for Lily, far too big for her, but she climbed up with ease, resting her feet on the lower bar. He sat across from her, opened the file, and skimmed through Sarah's resume while glancing at the little girl. "So, Lily, why does your mom want to work here?" he asked, his voice unusually soft. Lily, serious, replied, "Mom works hard. She never buys anything for herself. She saves for me. She wants a job where she can use her brain, not just clean or serve tables." Albert still listened to her. "She went to university, but she had to stop. Because of me," Lily added. Her words, simple and honest, struck a chord. Albert, used to formal interviews, felt something stir within him. "And why did you come today?" he asked. Lily smiled. "Mom was sad after the call. She wants to give me a better life, so I came to help." Albert closed the file, his expression softened. You know, Lily, I've interviewed many people here, but no one has said something so important. Lily beamed, not fully understanding, but sensing it was positive. I think your mom is exactly the kind of person we need, he said. Then, almost against his will, he added, and I know a place with really good ice cream. Lily lit up. Mom would love that. Albert smiled, a rare and sincere smile that reached his eyes. He called his assistant. Find out which hospital Sarah Parker is admitted to. Send flowers and something for a little girl. Ask if she can have a formal interview when she gets better. Turning to Lily, he said, Thank you for coming. You did something very brave. Lily shrugged, mischievous. Mom says I'm brave all the time. Albert held the door for her, a spark of warmth in his gaze. Back in his office, he reopened Sarah's resume, not out of obligation, but out of curiosity. Each line told a story of perseverance, a brilliant woman halted by life, but never broken. A handwritten note at the bottom of the resume struck him. I am not seeking pity, just a real chance. These words, simple and dignified, resonated deeply. In the hospital, the morning sun filtered through the blinds, caressing Sarah's pale cheeks. Despite the fever, a strange serenity filled the room. As she woke up, she noticed a bouquet of pastel flowers and a small wrapped box on her bedside table. A card lay on top, to the strongest woman I have yet to meet. Sarah's heart stopped. Confused, she opened the box, revealing a pack of chocolate milk and a handwritten card, simple yet thoughtful. A wave of panic washed over her, Lily. She had been too weak to watch over her daughter the night before. Where was she? Trembling, she dialed Braden and Company. Hello, this is Sarah Parker, she stammered. I think there's a misunderstanding. My daughter, she's only 4, she must have come with my resume. I'm sorry. On the other end, Charlotte chuckled softly. Ms. Parker, no worries. Your daughter might be the bravest person to have crossed our threshold. Our CEO was very impressed. Sarah, stunned, murmured, Your CO? Charlotte replied warmly. He would like to meet you officially. If you're feeling better, he has reserved a slot this afternoon. Sarah, incredulous, accepted. A few hours later, she stepped out of a taxi in front of the Braden and Company Tower, still weak, dressed in a simple yet neat navy blouse. Her hands trembled, her heart raced. Charlotte welcomed her like an old friend. Ms. Parker, welcome. He's waiting for you. In the elevator, Sarah battled a mix of hope and fear. Arriving on the top floor, she entered a spacious, sunlit office. Albert Braden, tall and impeccably dressed, stood up with a sincere smile. Ms. Parker, glad to see you're feeling better. Sarah, intimidated, stammered apologies for Lily, but Albert stopped her. Your daughter gave a most convincing presentation I've ever seen. The first day of Sarah at Braden and Company felt like stepping into another world. The glass walls, the click of heels, the hushed efficiency. Everything was both intimidating and exciting. Albert had offered her a position as a junior project assistant, far beyond her expectations of an internship or a subordinate role. But the reception from her colleagues was mixed. Her modest clothing and worn shoes betrayed her past. Some whispered that she had been hired out of pity. Others ignored her. Sarah, however, did not let this discourage her. She arrived early, left late, took notes, and asked questions. She devoured training videos, studied reports, and observed senior assistants. Her fingers danced on the keyboard as if she had never left university. When she made mistakes, she owned up to them, corrected them, and never repeated them. Gradually, the attitude of others changed. A colleague asked her for help with a slideshow, another for organizing a schedule. A sincere thank you resonated one day, marking a turning point. Albert, for his part, had never doubted. Without ever coddling her, he closely monitored her progress. In meetings, he inquired about her contributions, noted her ideas. He noticed everything. The day Sarah missed lunch, he had a sandwich delivered by mistake. When Lily had a fever, he sent her a message: "Family first, take the time you need." He made sure she had a seat at the discussion table, not relegated to the back. Sarah began to believe in her own worth, a feeling she had almost forgotten. One evening, as the building was nearly deserted, she was finalizing a presentation for an important client. Her eyes were tired, her fingers stiff, but a rare sensation overwhelmed her: accomplishment. Albert approached without her noticing. "You're working harder than employees here for 10 years, he said. Surprised, Sarah smiled. "I have 10 years to catch up on." He sat next to her, and in the silence, she confided, "I was a freshman in college, studying marketing. I had plans, internships. Then I met someone, I got pregnant. He left. My parents told me to choose, give up the baby or leave. I chose Lily." Months passed, and Sarah flourished in her role. Her colleagues, initially distant, began to seek her ideas. She spotted mistakes, proposed discreet solutions, and her results spoke for themselves. Her name gained weight, spoken with respect. Albert, never intervening directly, followed her assent. He found excuses to stop by her desk, asking questions he already knew the answers to. His gaze lingered, betraying a growing affection, not only for Sarah, but also for Lily. Every Friday, after school, Lily arrived at the office, skipping down the halls as if she were its queen. She settled on Albert's couch with her coloring books, waiting for Uncle Albert to finish his calls. Sometimes, he would cancel a meeting to take her out for a milkshake. Their ritual was simple. She called him boss, and he nicknamed her the real CEO. During company picnics, she would climb onto his shoulders. In the break room, she saved him the last cookie. Sarah watched these moments, her heart both full and anxious. She had buried her hopes for love under years of sacrifice. But there, love stood before her, carrying her daughter on his shoulders, offering a security she had never known. One evening, as the office was quiet, Sarah, Albert, and Lily were together. Lily, with a juice in hand, colored in a corner, humming. Sarah and Albert were finishing a project review, laughing with an ease born from their complicity. When they finished, Sarah stood to grab Lily's bag. "Mom," the little girl suddenly said, "can I call Uncle Albert Dad?" Silence filled the room. Sarah, frozen, let Lily's bag slip. Albert, motionless, looked at Lily, then at Sarah. A year later, Sarah Parker was no longer the nervous young mother who had entered Braden & Company with a resume and hope. She was now a project team leader, confidently running meetings and guiding juniors with a natural authority. Her name appeared in success reports, and her colleagues respected her for her ethics and kindness. Her relationship with Albert remained discreet, not out of shame, but out of respect for their professional environment. Yet, their bond was becoming evident. Albert brought pastries to Lily on Monday mornings. Sarah was the only one who could interrupt his meetings. Their exchanged glances told a story that needed no explanation. It was not gossip, but a reality that everyone silently supported. Lily had become a figure in the office. She had her place in the break room, a drawer for her crayons, and a fan club of employees, from interns to executives. During a quarterly meeting, she exclaimed, "Hello, team," which became memorable. For many, she was the company princess. For Albert, she was simply his daughter. At the annual Christmas gala, the room sparkled with golden and green lights. Sarah, in a navy blue dress, radiated a quiet grace. Lily, in a white dress, danced, her silver shoes shining under the lights. Albert, in a tuxedo, watched them, a warm smile illuminating his once closed face. He had always kept his distance from such events. That night, he stayed close to them, out of love. When someone tapped a glass, silence fell. Albert stepped forward. Usually, we talk numbers and goals. Tonight, I want to talk about what changed my life. He looked at Lily, frosting traces on her cheeks. A year ago, I received an application delivered by a 3-foot-tall girl in a pink dress, with a resume twice her size. The room laughed. Sarah had traveled a remarkable path. From a single mother struggling to survive, she had become a respected figure at Braden & Company. Her role as team leader was no coincidence. She had proven her worth through her rigor and perseverance. She arrived with solutions before problems were even spotted, anticipated clients' needs, and guided her team with rare empathy. Her colleagues, once skeptical, now consulted her for her ideas. She remembered birthdays, helped with late projects, and never forgot what it was like to be overlooked. Her kindness, combined with formidable efficiency, made her a natural leader. Albert, for his part, did not content himself with observing her from afar. He stopped by her desk, discussed strategies, and his questions, often rhetorical, betrayed his admiration. Their bond, discreet yet profound, grew in the interstices of workdays. Lily, for her part, brought contagious joy. Her Friday visits were eagerly awaited. She would run through the halls, distribute drawings, and her laughter resonated like an antidote to stress. Albert, once distant, had transformed in her presence. He canceled meetings to take her out for ice cream, listened to her stories with a patience he had never had for business. Sarah saw all this, and each moment reinforced her sense of belonging, but also her fear. To love again after so many betrayals was a risk. The relationship between Sarah and Albert was evolving slowly but surely. What had started as professional admiration had transformed into something deeper. Albert, once closed off, was letting down his defenses. His gestures, bringing pastries for Lily, ensuring that Sarah always had a voice in meetings, were those of a man who was no longer content to survive alone. Sarah, on her part, was battling her own fears. After being abandoned by Lily's father and rejected by her family, she had learned to rely only on herself. But Albert, with his consistency and gentleness, was showing her that she could trust again. Their bond was not manifested in grand gestures, but in details, a lingering glance, a late-night conversation, a shared laugh. Lily, of course, was the heart of this equation. She adored Albert, calling him boss with a mischievous smile, while he nicknamed her the real CEO. At company events, she followed him like a shadow, and he would carry her on his shoulders, eliciting smiles from the employees. These moments, simple yet powerful, wove a family together. One evening, as the office was nearly empty, Sarah and Albert stayed late to finalize a project. Lily, asleep on the couch, clutched a coloring book. Sarah, exhausted but happy, softly said, "She loves you so much." Albert, looking at the little girl, replied, "And I love her too." At the Braden & Company Christmas Gala, the room sparkled with golden and green lights, tables adorned with shimmering velvet under fairy lights. Sarah, in a navy blue dress, radiated natural elegance, her blonde hair softly shining. Lily, in a white dress, danced, her silver shoes sparkling with every step. Albert, in a tuxedo, watched them, a warm smile lighting up his once closed face. He had always kept his distance from festivities. Tonight, he stayed close to them, not for the show, but out of love. When someone tapped the glass, silence fell. Albert stepped forward. Usually we talk numbers and goals. Tonight, I want to talk about what changed my life. He looked at Lily, traces of frosting on her cheeks. A year ago, a little girl in a pink dress walked into my office, a resume twice her size in hand. The room laughed. Sarah hid her face, moved. Albert continued, serious. She wasn't afraid. She brought hope, courage, and the beginning of something I didn't know I needed. He approached Sarah and Lily, embracing them. Thank you for coming into my life. The room applauded, glasses clinked, and under the lights, they formed a family. Sarah, once broken, had become a respected leader, a proud mother, a loved woman. Albert, once lonely, had found meaning through them. Lily, with her courage, had set everything in motion, proving that a child could change lives.